That's why a lot of these celebrities that start these things, they can't keep up. You know, like the Meghan Markles.
Just can't leave us alone, can you? Oh my God, he's so obsessed with us.
But you're the same.
You're the same.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, guys, you don't got to do this. Please, I'm begging you to stop.
Let's have a bit of a laugh at Harry and Meghan's expense because I'm finally caught up with this South Park episode.
It's quite vicious in a way, but quite funny as well.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
Time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
South Park, it's come to life. That's what we're witnessing in this hospital room right here.
You can't sue a cartoon. It's satire. It is what it is.
South Park has done a parody.
My name is Megan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy. Fuck Kaylin.
It has really upset Meghan Markle.
Like the gross disrespect to the intimacy and privacy of marriage and child.
What happens when a carefully protected celebrity image collides head-on with a comedy show that has never been afraid to turn controversy into ammunition? According to the storm surrounding Meghan Markle and South Park, the answer is absolute chaos, because the moment viewers began connecting the parody to the couple's already controversial public image, the internet didn't just laugh. It started dissecting every scene like it was evidence in a much bigger story.
Married for money, it's very clear she bagged the elephant. She was thrilled she became a, quote, princess.
I knew her a bit before she met Harry. She was nothing like that. She didn't speak like that. Her mannerisms weren't like that. This is all fake.
You just can't keep faking it. It's too hard.
There isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
Now make yourself cry. Oh, I do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Harry and Meghan have got the South Park treatment. The episode has just gone to air in the United States.
These two are not sincere people. They say that they want their privacy. These two are not sincere people. They say that they want their privacy while going on every television show, writing books, doing 6 hours of Netflix. They're not very likable, and people are tired of them.
Any type of flower arranging is just telling a story. What story do you want to tell? Maybe leave the country. Maybe disown your dad. Be creative.
The internet exploded almost instantly. Clips began circulating, reactions multiplied, and suddenly Meghan Markle was back at the center of a conversation she probably never wanted to dominate in quite this way. Online viewers were calling the parody brutal, savage, and completely unforgiving, while others argued that South Park had simply done what South Park has always done: take a public controversy, strip away the polished presentation, exaggerate it beyond recognition, and throw it directly back at the audience. And then came the whispers. Claims began circulating online that Meghan's representatives were unhappy with the attention, and that attempts may have been considered to contain the fallout before the parody could become an even bigger cultural moment. But here's where things get messy. Those alleged behind-the-scenes efforts have not been independently established as fact, yet the rumors themselves became part of the entertainment. Because once people started asking whether Meghan's team was trying to fight back, the controversy suddenly had a second storyline. The parody was no longer just about jokes. It became a conversation about control. Who controls the public image? Who controls the narrative? And what happens when a celebrity carefully builds a particular version of themselves only to have a television show come along and completely distort that version for millions of viewers? That is where this story gets seriously uncomfortable, because South Park didn't need to create an entirely new controversy. The comedy works precisely because it plays with themes that critics and online commentators had already been discussing for years: privacy, publicity, celebrity branding, media appearances, royal identity, Hollywood ambition, and the strange tension between wanting control over attention while remaining highly visible. And once those themes were placed inside the exaggerated world of South Park, the result was almost guaranteed to create another explosion. Memes started moving faster than explanations. YouTube creators began breaking down individual scenes. TikTok users turned moments from the parody into reaction material. X became a battlefield where one side celebrated the satire while the other side argued that the jokes had gone too far. But underneath all of that noise was one brutally simple question: why did this particular parody hit such a nerve? The answer goes back to the image at the center of the joke. According to the supplied storyline, the parody's fictionalized premise revolves around Meghan presenting an exaggerated pregnancy documentary, while South Park transforms the entire production into an absurd spectacle. But the comedy takes the idea of celebrity self-presentation and pushes it until the polished surface starts cracking. And that is exactly what makes the satire so uncomfortable. South Park has never been interested in giving its targets a flattering escape route. Once the writers identify a public contradiction, they don't gently point at it. They grab it, exaggerate it, turn it upside down, throw fireworks around it, and then make the audience watch the entire thing collapse. In this case, the target is supposedly Meghan's carefully constructed celebrity image. And the joke gets nastier because the cartoon version doesn't simply portray her as famous. It portrays her as someone desperately aware of being watched. Every camera becomes part of the joke. Every dramatic entrance becomes suspicious. Every carefully staged moment becomes an opportunity for another punchline. The parody reportedly opens with an exaggerated version of Meghan entering a fictional hospital documentary, already presented as larger than life, surrounded by attention and spectacle. Then comes the visual gag involving the pregnancy bump falling apart, pushing the satire into completely ridiculous territory. But here's where the controversy becomes more interesting. The joke isn't supposed to be taken literally. It's cartoon exaggeration. That's the entire point. South Park takes something recognizable and stretches it until it becomes absurd. Yet audiences often react most strongly when the exaggerated version reminds them of something they already believe about a public figure. And that is exactly what appears to have happened here. The supplied narrative connects the parody to a supposed real hospital video involving Meghan and Prince Harry, whether every detail surrounding that clip is accurate or not. The larger point is that online audiences had already developed strong opinions about celebrity pregnancy content, public appearances, and the way famous couples present private moments to millions of strangers. South Park simply turns that entire debate into ammunition, and once Harry enters the parody, the situation becomes even more ridiculous. The cartoon version of Harry is portrayed as desperately trying to defend the couple's privacy while standing directly inside an enormous media spectacle. That contradiction becomes the central joke, and for critics, it feels almost tailor-made for the kind of debate that has followed Meghan and Harry for years. The comedy essentially asks if privacy is the goal. Why does the camera keep appearing? That question has been repeated by critics many times, and South Park's trick is to make the contradiction visual rather than verbal. No lengthy explanation, no serious documentary, just an absurd cartoon character standing in front of cameras while demanding that everyone stop watching. And that is why the joke lands so aggressively. Because the audience doesn't have to be convinced. They only have to recognize the argument. Then the parody takes another sharp turn. Instead of allowing Meghan's fictional documentary to remain a sincere production, Cartman hijacks it. Suddenly, the entire project becomes a ridiculous Hollywood-style production filled with dramatic entrances, absurd equipment, explosions, costumes, and spectacle. The message underneath the madness is almost impossible to miss. The documentary is no longer about the subject. It becomes about the production of the subject. And this is where the story moves from outrageous comedy into something far more revealing. Because once the parody had done its damage, the conversation stopped being about one ridiculous scene and became a referendum on the entire public image surrounding Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Viewers began revisiting the contradictions that South Park had exaggerated, especially the tension between demands for privacy and continued participation in highly visible interviews, documentaries, podcasts, and publicity campaigns. The cartoon did not create that debate from nothing. It simply turned an existing argument into an exaggerated spectacle that was impossible to ignore. Stan appears overwhelmed by the madness. Kyle searches for meaning beneath the chaos, while Cartman sees only opportunity. Cartman hijacks the documentary, puts on his Darth Vader helmet, grabs equipment, and transforms what was supposed to be a personal production into a ridiculous Hollywood circus. The explosions, dramatic entrances, hospital destruction, and increasingly absurd stunts become a visual representation of celebrity publicity spiraling completely out of control. Then comes the scene that pushes everything over the edge. Cartoon Meghan enters the delivery room surrounded by cameras and attention, behaving as though the moment is less about welcoming a baby and more about creating the ultimate media event. The exaggerated pregnancy bump drops away, and suddenly the entire performance collapses in front of everyone. Prince Harry rushes in shouting, "Respect our pregnancy," turning what should have been an emotional declaration into another instantly recognizable punchline. Cartman sees the commercial commercial potential immediately, declaring that's going in the trailer. Kyle desperately tries to understand how the situation became this ridiculous, but by then the damage is done. The joke has escaped the fictional world and entered the internet, where audiences can transform a few seconds of animation into days of arguments, reaction videos, memes, and commentary. And that is exactly why the controversy refuses to disappear. Once clips began circulating, viewers started comparing the exaggerated cartoon scenes with the public image they already associated with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Some laughed. Others considered the parody unnecessarily cruel. But controversy is precisely what South Park thrives on, and Trey Parker and Matt Stone have spent years building a reputation around attacking subjects that other shows might avoid. Their comedy does not depend on everyone agreeing with the joke. It depends on people arguing about it afterward. Every angry reaction becomes another reason to discuss the episode, and every attempt to explain why the parody went too far can unintentionally send even more curious viewers searching for the scenes that caused the outrage. That is where the alleged behind-the-scenes reaction becomes such a tempting part of the narrative. Reports and online claims suggested that Meghan's representatives were monitoring the situation, while speculation circulated about legal advisors and communication teams considering how the controversy might be contained. None of those claims should be treated as established fact without reliable confirmation, but the rumors added another layer to the spectacle. Suddenly, people were no longer asking only whether South Park had gone too far. They were asking whether anyone could actually stop the joke once the internet had embraced it. The answer appeared obvious. Probably not. TikTok could recreate it, X could debate it, Reddit could dissect it, and YouTube creators could build entire videos around a single scene. Once that process began, control over the narrative became almost impossible. The bigger problem for Meghan Markle was that the parody gave critics a simple visual shorthand for arguments they had been making for years. Instead of complicated discussions about branding, publicity, privacy, and celebrity culture, viewers could point to one ridiculous animated image and instantly understand the joke. That is the power of satire when it lands. It compresses an entire debate into a moment people can remember. And whether audiences considered that moment hilarious, offensive, unfair, or brilliant, they were still talking about it. By the end, the fictional documentary has become a complete disaster, the hospital is destroyed, the supposed masterpiece receives almost no attention, and the characters are left standing inside the wreckage of their own publicity machine. The final joke works because the entire spectacle has been reduced to numbers, views, memes, and attention. The message is brutally simple. When the image becomes bigger than the substance, the audience eventually starts judging the image itself. And that may be the most uncomfortable part of the entire South Park controversy. The parody does not need to prove that every criticism of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry is true. It only needs to remind viewers that those criticisms already exist. South Park takes them, exaggerates them, throws them into a cartoon blender, and serves the result back with absolutely no apology. That is why the backlash became part of the entertainment, why the memes kept multiplying, and why the parody continued generating discussion long after the original joke should have ended. In the end, South Park's most brutal move may not have been mocking Meghan Markle at all. It may have been taking the endless conversation surrounding Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and turning that conversation itself into the punchline. And once the internet starts laughing at the argument as much as the people inside it, escaping the joke becomes almost impossible.